Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all good. Look at that. Cue the music to end right at the right time. Hope everyone's good. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Today's going to be a challenge. By the end of this stream, we will all be we'll all be glad it's over. We're going to do gesture. We're not messing around. I'm going to keep as tight to the times as I can. We've got 15 poses to do over 2 hours. I'm going to start with a few 5s. We'll go up to 7s. I don't know if we're going to go higher in time than that. We might do a couple of 10s, but absolutely nothing longer than a 10. And then towards the end, we'll taper down to something quicker again. So yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, look at that. Hope everyone's good. Margot, see you later. Or to future you, hi, how you doing? Laura just popping in to say hi. Yeah, check out the stream later. Hopefully it'll be a fun one to watch. I think possibly, at least from a performance art standpoint, gesture's a little bit more fun to watch. This does sometimes feel like performance art. Be the biggest plot twist if Richard gets shy and decides not to stream. Don't tend to get shy. I'm not an outgoing person by nature, but I'm not necessarily shy either, if that makes sense. All right, 5 minutes. I will not be reading. What paper is it? It looks thin. It is incredibly thin. It's 48 GSMs. It is newsprint, smooth newsprint. I think it's probably one of, without getting into tissues, it's probably one of the thinnest papers you can get. I like it because it's cheap. More importantly, I like it because it takes 6B charcoal. Well, frankly, in my opinion, there's nothing that matches it. It's just a pity it's not archival. Okay, I'm not going to be reading probably too much in the way of chat during poses. Because, you know, I need to kind of keep focused here with these being the 5th pose is worth a good hour on itself. Look, every time I sketch in the background looking good, thanks Lily. Yeah, you know, it's funny because every time you compile these gesture sets, it would be so easy to, yeah, I'm just going to start the timer. It would be so easy just to, you know, yeah, turn so many of these into long poses in their own right. Okay, let's find large rhythmical ideas. Lines of action, so to speak. Although, yeah, not a huge fan of, I think I'm just a contrarian. Whatever's popular as a concept, I tend to want to find an argument against it. This idea of line of action, I think it's oversimplistic, and I think it oversimplifies a much bigger conversation, and people get satisfied with just, oh yeah, line of action, that's enough. No, it's not really enough as an idea. Anyway. Now, for the long-term super observant among you, yes, we have done this set before, last April. But I figured a sufficient amount of time had passed. And also I think sometimes doesn't hurt to go back and revisit you know, a set of poses that we've done in the past, just so we can gauge our progress, if nothing else. I was half tempted to bookend this this session with doing an anatomy study. There's a really nice one I've come across, which I want us to have a look at, for the deltoid and the pectoral. But I don't know if mixing it in with a gesture session is really the time. So we'll maybe look at that next week. Excuse me. We're at 340, okay. Okay, and we're coming up to the 5. That's probably as good a point as any to stop anyhow, so we'll take it. Gesture is fun to draw since there's no time to feel excruciating pain when nothing in the drawing seems to be going the way you want. Well, if nothing else, at least it's over soon, right? QWERTY, I don't think I could ever thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I don't think I could ever be as talented as you. It's impossible for me to get this good. I would argue that that's not the case. I think that look, it takes time, but to say never, I don't think that's fair on yourself at all. You need to study correctly and the right things and practice, and sure, you could get there. Why not? All right, reset the clock. Another 5. Let's do it. Yeah, there's one good side to gesture. It's that, you know, if the drawing is not working, at least you don't have to suffer for too long. Holding on to this stick here. Yeah, I figured, you know, we haven't actually done gesture proper in a while. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But you know, the gesture is such an important stage of the drawing. Regardless of whether you're doing quick poses or longer poses, you know, we shouldn't neglect it as a part of our study, you know, a part of our practice. So this stick is coming down this way. What the hell is going on here? Hey Rick, how you doing? Gesture. That's what's going on. If you're referring to the fact that I'm doing more than one pose on a page, then yeah, that I guess is a little bit unusual, huh? Richard's actually sticking to the timers. Yeah, man, we got to today. I want to get through all these 15 poses. So that's kind of like the challenge that we have for ourselves. And I think that the only way that we're going to be able to achieve that is by sticking to the timer. And if the drawing's not complete, then you know what? It is what it is. But I would say, you know, one of the things when you're practicing gesture, at least, I think you can make allowances, or you can bend the rules a little when you're more practiced. But when you're starting out and you're doing gestural poses, try and get, if nothing else, try and get all major limbs of the body in the drawing, because gesture is such an important tool for practicing things like proportion and you know, relative proportion and that type of thing. So you know, if you want to just kind of make the most of that as an idea. So just try and draw all the arms and all the legs, and just, you know, even if it's a stick figure, that's okay. Okay, there's our 5. Oh, Rick, that's awesome. You received the drawing. That's lovely, wonderful. Good stuff. Thank you for the support, my friend. Much appreciated. Okay, next pose. Let's keep rocking. Okay, let's try and keep on top of keeping my hand clean. Neurologically, gesture drawing should be the best for improving raw skill. Learning closed loop skills depends on error correction, repetitions. Gesture offers just that. It's a very good point, Lulu. Sure. Yeah, newsprint. Smooth. Someone asked how Penny is. Penny's fine. Penny's doing good, thanks. We had a testing day yesterday. She decided 3 times to rub her head and neck in what I think is fox poo. I think the middle one might have been deer poo. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a testing moment of our relationship. No, but she's doing good. She's a little sweetheart. But that was a lot to deal with. Excuse me. think I've kind of, for a gesture at least, I think I've said all I want to say. I'm going to leave that one there. Let's just give this a little quick clean. We're still on company dime. All right, good. All right. The references, if you're a member, is it, Andrew? If you're a member, then there's a link in the community chat to the reference page, which is hosted on my website. You can see them all there. If you'd like to be a member, you can hit the join button, and you will have access to the links. What is this? What song is this? I have no idea. I'm just on a mix on Epidemic Sound, and I'm not about to go hunting right now because I want to stay in the zone. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we'll go up to 7, huh? Yeah, in fact, I'm going to move to a fresh sheet. Richard, is it acceptable if I draw my gesture drawing with almost all straights? Kind of feels right when I do it, but also feels like I'm missing the whole gesture part. Well, you know, you're gonna... Is it acceptable? Sure. Is there going to be trade-offs with that process? I believe there will be. And I think you know the answer to that by the second part of your question / statement. So yeah. But look, if it helps you conceptualize what it is that you need to do, if you can find that you can bring in the curved nature, the rhythmical nature of the ideas later in the process, then you know maybe you can get away with that, right? Okay, next pose. We're going to go to 7. Let's just give ourselves a couple of minutes extra for this one. But let's try and stay in the spirit of the you know, the fives, or the gestural spirit, let's say. Let's try and keep that going. It's a tendency when we give ourselves extra time to stop thinking kind of gesturally. I do think in the spirit of what it is that we're trying to do here, we should really be mindful of that. And I do it myself. I'm very guilty of it. When I know I've got longer to draw something, it's actually, sometimes it can be a hindrance. You can end up stiffening up the drawing. Just trying to find the large rhythmical ideas right now. And sometimes, you know, even when I'm drawing gesture, and I know the whole drawing process is generally a bit faster, you'll notice sometimes I'll slow right down for a minute, or I'll almost seem to like pause for a minute. And that kind of is in the spirit of, you know, measure twice, cut once. sometimes it's good to just stop and gather your thoughts. You don't have to constantly be drawing, you know, to be drawing, if that makes sense. Okay. Robin Troa, Bridge of Sighs. Rick, I bought that album probably when I was about 17, if I had to guess, in the early 90s, late, like 1990 maybe even. When did it come out? I don't know when it came out. Yeah, but I have, you know, it's funny you should mention that album because I have not heard it in probably 30 years. I've completely forgotten about that album. I should give it a go. You're absolutely right. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, I need to keep cracking here because this time will evaporate quickly enough. Keep messing up their ankle, its position in space. I keep changing my mind. We need to just stop doing that. No time for that nonsense. James Kurahara, welcome. Just no time to check chat. There's our 7. Ouch. All right, so I'm an incomplete drawing. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I think it's no great loss. Wasn't a great one. Been struggling to make my drawing shading deeper. I'm using 14B Chinese charcoal pencil. Don't know if that's a make or you'll look if 14B, if that's not cutting it for you. I would say that you might want to actually there might be something with your technique that you can look at to remedy that, because I would imagine 14B should be plenty. But then again, without seeing materials and the paper and that, it's not necessarily for me to say. Okay, we got a tricky one. I need to get my other board. We are going into landscape mode for this next one. And I think we'll do another 7. This one's gonna be tricky. Any vegetarians here? I'm making the switch right now, not because I love animals, but because I'm starting to look like an elephant. It's interesting you should say that. I would consider myself a meat eater. But I have not had meat in the last 3 days, which is probably the first time in years that I have not eaten meat. And I found myself over the last couple of months tending to shy away from it a little, in small ways, you know, like vegetarian pizza instead of pepperoni pizza, this type of thing. But yeah. I'm kind of in a similar boat, possibly, Rick. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting away from meat a bit more. We will always need to use a gesture line to get the general angle and proportion of the subject, ? I ask this because I notice that I use it less and less of it, only using it when doing a complex pose. It says Priceless Agony, great name. Let's stick to drawing. Linda, respectfully, we talk about all manner of things on this stream. This is the 154th stream that I've done. We are inevitably, with each one going over 2 hours, things other than drawing are going to come up in conversation, which is something I actually welcome. So I'm sorry if that doesn't work for you, but that's the way it is. Vegan for 10 years, says Doug. Didn't know that. Nice one, Doug. Congratulations. Who else is having trouble keeping up here? Well, Chris, look, that's the nature of gesture. All I would say is, even if you're drawing stick figures, get down the large ideas of the pose, right? If you know, I know it's feels like we're drawing very quickly. We are drawing very quickly. But just don't try and hold your drawing to the same standards as you would if you're doing a longer pose. We're not trying to accomplish the same things, right? So don't stress about it. It's okay. I'm not getting the same stuff done either. I'm not keeping up either. It's kind of the point. Goodbye, Linda. And take care. Have you seen the book Figure Drawing for All It's Worth? Loomis teaches shading there too. I think it's incredible how he does some simple shadings, but it looks super realistic. Yes, I know Figure Drawing for All It's Worth. Yeah, it's good book. Okay, this hand is here. This knee is going to be about there. Remember, stick figures if need be. Especially when we're just trying to find rough placement of things. Right, 3 minutes already. You can really see the dip in that acis right there. I haven't really done it justice, but and this is actually about here, and I'm using that point of the acis right there. You can see that this leg is kind of coming from this point here, so I'm using that. You can probably, Penny just came in the room, and she's chewing the bone I gave her to keep her quiet, and it's probably getting picked up on microphone. So so yeah, my plan there kind of backfired. Anyway. At 5:19. Yeah, I made a few less than optimal decisions here, but such is life. Okay. Yeah, made a real pig's ear of this one. Luckily, the 7 are up. Abandoned ship. Perfect. That's what I love about gesture. Next pose. Mila. Welcome. Just came home from a 3-hour live model session in Avon for an overdose. Nice. Doing well, thanks. Yeah, doing great. No complaints. Just trying to keep on top of it here. We are, you know, we're not messing around. Now, we are on, we've done 5 poses. And we're 42 minutes in. I think we're probably on schedule. Let's do another 7, huh? You know what's going to catch up to me before the drawing situation is up is actually my pencil situation. Let me just see what's going on here. Where am I at? I'm actually going to go to grey for the first part of this drawing. Do you know what is the pose after this? Okay. Another 7, guys. Let's do it. That's not going to work. Okay, sorry, just checking what Penny's actually chewing there. Do you want to keep making so much noise? Is that working for you? Yeah, it's working just fine for you. So we're at 3 minutes, 3:20. All right, I need to switch to black, so. Let's do it. All right, less than 2 minutes to go. So I'm clearly futzing over the wrong things here. Right, 1 minute to go. All right, there's our 7. Sorry, I'm just saying, did I miss a question? Okay, Doug said earlier in the chat Here's something I've been having trouble getting my head around. I see a lot of people doing chaotic gesture drawings that have an amazing artistic flair to them. Mine always look childish. Interesting you should use the word chaotic. And I think I know what you mean by the word chaotic. This is what I've said so many times, and I do maintain it. I believe very much that gesture is arguably one of the hardest stages of development to get right. Your maturity as an artist really reveals itself in the gestural stage of the drawing. Let's just put it that way. You don't have time to hide behind tricks or tone or you know, all the other kind of things that we can bring to a drawing. Gesture tends to be incredibly raw, and it's a tricky one. I believe it's the hardest thing to get good at, gesture. And as I've said so many times, the irony being is it's the first stage of the drawing. So we have this weird kind of challenge that we have to, you know, deal with. Okay, let's just keep cracking. I think that this is. Actually, I'm going to use. This is going marvelously. Sorry, just doing a quick look at the poses, what we have ahead of us, and time. We want to just be mindful of time. This next pose is a back pose, and you're going to have to forgive me for this, guys. We might jump around just a little bit with times. I'm going back to a 5-minute pose for this next one. And we might go back to to a 7 for the next one. I'm not sure yet. But energetic may be better. I think maybe energetic it's at least it's more descriptive to what you're discussing, I think. But hopefully my point stands. James, thank you so very much for the donation. It's very much appreciated. Okay, next one, as I said, 5 minutes. Let's do this. Oh, kind of. Okay, there we go. I thought I'd hit the wrong camera there for a minute. Okay, we got 5. That's unfortunate. God, these primos can be so soft. Really, probably one of the softest charcoal pencils I've come across. Oh, by the way, James, I believe I read a comment from you on one of the streams, one of the earlier streams from the other day that you sent, asking about if I had flipped a pose, the orientation of the pose. I haven't had a chance to check, and I think it's like something like 100 streams ago, and so it could be a bit of a task to go back and deal with that. Look, there's a possibility that the reference, because I sometimes don't work from the page that you're working on, I'll sometimes work from my Photoshop folder of the same poses. There's always a chance that I'd inadvertently flipped that and was working with a different version. I'm honestly not sure though. But I wasn't ignoring your comment, I just didn't have a time to go back and review. But the fact that you're going back to streams from over 100 streams ago and you're reviewing them and you're drawing through with them is a lovely thing, and fair dues to you. Yeah, beer money. Yeah, I don't drink anymore, Lulu. I think I've said it before, but something I never thought I'd find myself saying. Kind of, not even in a crazy way, but you know, like the way that everyone kind of feels like you overdo it at Christmas, and I didn't even drink that much, truth be told. But I remember just after Christmas just thinking, I think I'm kind of done, and haven't really had any since. I could maybe a cup, you know, the odd, very, very small glass of wine, but yeah, not drinking. Between that and, you know, potentially going more vegetarian, it's like, who would have thought all these different things? Okay, what the hell am I doing here? All right, this is officially a disaster. Let's see if we can fix it a little bit in 3 minutes. I said 5 for this one, didn't I? Not 7. I said this one would be a 5. All right, well, in the In the interest of trying to be true to my word, we're done. And that was a terrible drawing. Good Lord. Not all drawings are created equal. Excuse me. Next pose. Can we stick to drawing, please? That should be the t-shirt. Can we stick to the drawing, please? Pretty much. All right, next pose. This music is a banger. I love it. What the one that's playing right now is called Balafola Suedi, S-U-E-D-I, Suedi. You'll find it on Epidemic Sounds. Wamu is the name of the track. Yeah, it's rather good. Bongo drums? No, that's not bongos, Lulu. I would say that's marimba, xylophone. All right, what are we looking at here? Da-dum. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to do the math here on what we have left. How long do we need for this next one? This is the question. My spidey sense is saying this is a 7, and then the next one is a 5, and then the next one after that's a 7. Do we want to jump around like that? I guess we could. Let's do 7 on this one anyway, and we can have a discussion about that if need be. Okay. You know that instrument that you were just listening to, Lulu, they make it, well, it's shaped like this. I used to have one, and it's wooden sticks, right? Like that go in on an angle like this, right? All the way across, coming this way. And depends on the size of it, right? And then hanging underneath, they have like gourds. Under each one of these, you'll see a gourd hanging like this, and they're all the way across. And then they play it with a little mallet. The one I had anyway, the mallet looks like something like this, right? But this part here of mine, this part here was made of car tire, and you know, be on a little frame, something like that. Anyway, you can look that up. Yeah, marimba. Is it like an African marimba? So go check that out. It's a very cool instrument. Okay. Yeah, I used to own a marimba, one of the African marimbas. Balafon. Maybe that's the name of it. I'm just going to check that. Just give me a second. Jeez, Linda's going to be so upset with me. Yes, balafon. You're correct, balafon. It's the marimba slash xylophone. Yeah, xylophone, yeah. Kind of like a marimba, right? Same principle, mallet. A balafon, there you go. You can see a huge one there. Mine was really small. Mine was only probably about so big. There you go, all right. Also kora, it's like African harp. Very true. Yes. Met some wonderful kora players when I was in LA many years ago. I have a friend making them. Nice, great. Yeah, why not? Okay, sorry. I'm resetting the clock if you don't mind, guys, because I literally haven't started drawing. Okay, 7 for this one. Lou says, I think the Blue guys played on something like that with PVC pipes. Yeah, but you know, and you are thinking of Blue Man Group. But here's the thing. Just because something's played with a mallet, you have to be careful about which family. The whole pipe thing, I think, would fall into a different category. I'm not on or, you know, on any level knowledgeable or, you know, in a position to say, but my feeling is it's a different family, even though they're all under the mallet family, if that makes sense. You know who's probably really good on knowledge on all of this is Jaeger. Jaeger knows all of this stuff, I'm sure, far better than I do. I don't know if Jaeger's here today. Whack-a-mole musical instrument family, there you go, Lulu. That's it. That's the one. I think that's the technical term. It's the one ethnomusicologists use. The whack-a-mole family. You know, funny though, you know, to what we were talking about earlier, Doug, about gesture. About gesture being, in my opinion, kind of like almost like the final stage of development, or the hardest stage of development to kind of, you know, to master, let's say. But it is funny, just recently I saw someone who's not bad at gesture, they kind of get it, did someone's work. But then when they go to longer poses, they really don't have any control, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, maybe there's something more to be kind of dug into there as an idea, because this person kind of proved my point wrong, or, you know, kind of, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. It's like, okay, your gesture's really nice, and your long form drawing kind of falls apart. How do I keep going and not give up drawing? I'm 15, I get so frustrated. Well, I see other people have commented, we all stink in the beginning. It's very true. Yeah, look, Olive, getting frustrated is kind of part of the journey. Guess what? I'm 52 and I get frustrated with my drawing. I'm not sure that that feeling is ever going to go away, or should go away, right? We need to ask ourselves a deeper question there. I think while you sense frustration, it means that there's probably a potential for growth. Means that you're being mindful of what it is that you're doing, and that frustration is kind of a symptom of that, because things might not be translating exactly how you see them in your mind's eye. So I wouldn't see that frustration as necessarily a negative, or at least you could try and frame it as a positive. The thing you need to be mindful of, though, Olive, is drawing, art in general, any art, doesn't matter whether it's drawing or music or whatever. If it's something you want to do, and it's something you're serious about doing, one of the first things that will be really useful for you to kind of make peace with as soon as possible is that it's going to be a lifelong journey. Yes, you will acquire a decent set of skills, hopefully, you know, within a few years of studying. But you're going to, if you're lucky, and I mean this, if you're lucky, you'll be questioning and asking questions your entire life. What if I tried it this way? What if I tried that way? I have just as many questions as you do, Olive. The difference is my questions are different. But it doesn't mean I'm not asking questions, right? So be patient with yourself too. That's super important. And it's a difficult one because we're all in a huge hurry in life, whether it's drawing or whatever it is, you know, like life and society is conditioning us fast, do it quickly, 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 quick is better, quick is better, quick is better. But when it comes to learning something, drawing, guitar, whatever, you have to flip that mentality on its head and get comfortable with the process, and get comfortable with the fact that the process is going to take years. Learning to draw well is no different than saying, I want to learn the violin. You're not going to learn to play the violin in 3 months. Yes, you'll learn to maybe hold it correctly in 3 months. But it might take you 3 months to learn how to hold the pencil correctly. This is a long journey. Be glad it's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would be good at it, and then what would be the point? It's a journey. Enjoy the journey. Make peace with the journey, because the journey doesn't come to an end. Enjoy the dance. Alan, okay, not just Olive, but Olive, you're 15. You've got a lot of time ahead of you. You're very lucky. If you have a chance, go listen to the lectures of someone called Alan Watts. Alan Watts had a beautiful mind, and he had a beautiful way of framing things and looking at big picture, big world picture stuff. And he talked about life being a dance. And the idea is not to get to a destination, the idea is the dance. And he says it so beautifully and so eloquently. But enjoy the dance, right? Start there and enjoy it, and give yourself permission to take your time to be as good as you could potentially be. We all suck in the beginning. It's okay to suck. I still suck. Maybe in a different way, but I'm still, in my mind, 95% of the drawings I do, I think suck. Right? That's okay. That's okay. It's part of the journey. The other thing that's really useful, honestly, and I mean everything I'm saying very sincerely and from my heart, is enjoy and make peace with the process. Try and put the actual end result kind of to the side for a minute. Don't be in a hurry to get a perfect finished drawing. Try and just enjoy being in the moment, the act of drawing. And if you can do that, it makes the journey so much more interesting. Don't worry about being result orientated. Be process orientated. The result will come. Rick, I'm just reading your comment about your wife and Alan Watts. Well, thank you for sharing. That's an unimaginable thing to have to go through, and I could see how not that I would have any frame of reference, but I could see how that could potentially help, for sure, to help hopefully give perspective on this crazy journey, right? So sorry to hear you had to go through that, Rick. That's heartbreaking. I don't have adequate words, so I'm gonna stop there if you don't mind. Mila, that's lovely. Heavy stuff. It is heavy, but it's also beautiful stuff, Lulu. Right? This is the journey. We're in it. Let's enjoy it. We're making, this is where we make memories, in the present. Okay, what did I say for this one, a 5? Yeah, let's try and go with a 5 here. All right. It's very difficult, you know, when you're, especially when you are younger and you've got, and you know, sometimes actually the funny thing is, having youth and time on your side can for some people be quite debilitating. And I do think that there's something to be said for, you know, when you get older, obviously your priorities in life change slightly and the things that are important to you and all of that. But also time becomes a bit of a premium. And the way that we choose to use our time or to frame the way that we use our time, it can definitely change. And it's kind of ironic, isn't it, or kind of cruel, that when you're younger you tend to be more impatient when you've got the time. And that's something I wish I'd done when I was younger, was taken the time to give myself space to learn something thoroughly, like I did to some degree or another. But, you know, especially when I was younger, and this comes back, and when I say younger, I mean like teenage and younger than that. But this comes back to this whole thing that we've discussed so many times on the stream about having good teachers. Yeah, isn't it funny, you know? Because trying to learn things when you're older is definitely more challenging. I'm envious of younger folk who ask the right questions, even though I'm in my 30s. It's also good to see that they don't have to smash their head against the brick wall like I did. You're in your 30s, Lulu. You're still there. You got, you know, what a wonderful thing to be in your 30s. It's funny, you know, like about 7 or 8 years ago, I was in my mid-40s and kind of almost lamenting the fact that I was, you know, I'm already in my 40s and blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to a guy, and who was someone who was very, very successful guy. And, you know, someone I was like, you know, this guy's, he's won, you know, he's done it all, he's done it arguably pretty right, but he was saying, you know, for all that he's done, he would give anything to be my age. And that's the one thing that no amount of success or wealth or, you know, whatever marker you want to use as a gauge for success, it's the one thing that the great equalizer of the universe is time. It's why I actually personally think that immortality would be very destructive. Because I think that it's the finite amount of time problem that is such a great motivator to get certain things done. Could you imagine if you had 1,000 years to do things, how much more you'd procrastinate? I can only imagine. Anyway, I'm rambling, so forgive me. And there's our 7. You'd be watching YouTube videos for 900. That's exactly what would happen. You have 1,000 years to live. You'd ask around for 900 of them and maybe do something useful for the same amount that we would anyway. Immortal. Yeah, you know what, Rick? I think quite a lot about simulation theory. I'm not ruling anything out. Yep. All bets are off. I have to be in my 40s again. Yeah, right, Doug. But you know what? One day you'll be going, to be in my 50s again, right? Okay. Can you imagine when you're 80, you'd be like, God, to be 50 something again. How nice. Do you work for any animation studios? Asks Hiram. Yes, Hiram, I have many. I've worked for many. A lot of different animation studios. 35 years working in animation. I'm not currently working for any animation studio. If you're interested in all that business, if you go to the About page on my website, it will show you all the movies I've worked on and all of that. You know, so. Okay, next pose. I'm thinking, okay, so we've got about 30 minutes left and we have 6 poses. Well, you know, with the inevitable gaps, I think we should plan on maybe 3 5s and 3 3s. Let's plan on that for right now. So 5 minutes, guys. I'm just going to take a break for just 1 second. James says I would be happy to be 60 again. There you go, James. You know what I'm saying. I hope I get that chance. Well, that's the other flip side of this whole little dance, isn't it? At 80 years old, you'll be looking at your 50s saying how nice it would be to be in my 50s. And there's many 50-year-olds that will never reach 80. So what do? Is it better to arrive at 80 and be able to go back and say, look at the life I've lived. And look at the fact I made it all this way. What statistically is the chance of doing that? I don't know. Okay. 5 minutes. Very long line of action going on here. We can exploit that, use that to our advantage. And a very nice twist in the torso from 3/4 view to almost like front on, so kind of nice. Excuse me. Okay. Now, this is one of those cases, you can see her right arm, and for those of you who don't have the reference, her right arm hand, really, is kind of just revealing itself right in here. It's one of those things, I'm going to leave it off because it's one of those, just those situations where it's like, drawing it would actually just be doing the drawing a disservice. Oblique. Richard, would you mind to tell us, Mila, would you mind to tell us a little bit about your beginning in art, your hero's inspiration, your struggles? Really love to hear about it. Sure. Well, you know, the struggles are many. In saying that, you know, I just have a slightly unorthodox journey in many ways, because I started working in the animation industry at 15 years old. And I won't say by accident, because, you know, I did make it happen, but it was through a series of fortunate circumstances of what was going on in the animation industry in the late 80s in London that led to that, which was basically there was a lot of small studios desperate for people. And so I got opportunities which I possibly would not have got had the industry not been as hard up for talented artists as it was. So, you know, it was funny because I knew I wanted to work in animation, and that was partly from, there was a guy in my, you know, I grew up in Spain without TV, right? So there was a lot of kind of having to amuse myself, and drawing was one of the things that I did to do that. No telly, no magazines, you know, no real entertainment. So kind of had to entertain myself. And let's move to the next pose. So we moved back to England when I was 11. And I ended up meeting someone at my high school that knew something about animation, and I'd been drawing a lot of that type of stuff just on my own, just, you know, just for the hell of it kind of thing as a kid. Anyway, at 15 at school, you know, the year that you could potentially leave school in England at the back of then, we had to do a week's work experience before the summer holidays. And, you know, you could go anywhere. So, you know, some kids would go to the local hairdressers. They were people that wanted to be a hairdresser, or, you know, it could be the local store, hardware store, or estate agent, whatever it might be, whatever you thought you might want to do when you left school. And for those, you know, that had bigger aspirations, they might just go somewhere, you know, their dad's work or something for a week, whatever. Anyway, I picked animation, so I started just cold calling on animation studio doors. And eventually one of them was like, yeah, we'll take you on for your work experience. And because I could already kind of do, like, there's a job in animation called cell painting. So I did that. I'll get to your, Ignacio, I'll get to your, no, this is not Riley method. Just to answer your question real quickly. Anyway, there was a job I could already do in animation, which is called cell painting. So they kept me on for the week work experience, and they ended up keeping me on for the summer because they needed people. And basically I never went back to school. I had one more year of school to do. And we made an agreement with the high school that as long as I took all my exams, I could show up only 2 days a week. So I would work 3 days a week, go to school 2 days a week. I would actually work the weekend as well. So I'd end up working 5 days a week, go to school for the 2 days. And then that way, another 5 guys. And that way the school was satisfied. And I did that for my last year of school. So I sat my exams. I honestly don't even know what exam results I got from high school. I never got them. And I just was working in the industry ever since. Which was, in hindsight, I think, a good thing and a bad thing. Because in one respect, it was great to just get practical experience, and I believe that practical experience trumps any amount of college. The flip side to that was I very early on in my career kind of pigeonholed myself into a particular job, and I didn't get to experience a wider skill set or a wider array of disciplines until much, much later. So I started working in animation very young, but then had a very hard time advancing because I didn't have a more well-rounded skill set. Funnily enough, it wasn't really until computer animation, like the last traditional hand-drawn film I worked on back then was in 2002, and then hand-drawn animation just disappeared for several years. It did kind of come back in fits and spurts, but it kind of disappeared. And it was at that point that I kind of had to retrain. And so the training that I would have normally done kind of in art school, I ended up doing in my early 30s. That's also when I really started to kind of get into figure drawing. And I knew for years that I needed it, and I needed, to help with my development. But I kept putting it off and kept putting it off because figure drawing's hard, and I had other things to do. Anyway, it was then that I kind of went back to school in some ways, in many ways, retrained, and yeah, kind of had to reset my career. But it's, that was also tricky because I had to retrain with 3 kids. So there was no like, oh, well, I'm just going to go off to art school for 4 years and arse around. So I had to learn how, I had to take a lot of free resources that were out there and kind of train myself on those free resources. So yeah, so that's kind of like a very quick, dirty version of how it all went down. But honestly, even with that training, or having to relearn so many things, a lot of that came down to having had good music teachers, those teachers that were the ones who taught me how to learn, gave me the ability to be able to look at stuff online, for example, to give it context and to know how to kind of study it. So yeah. Speaking of animation, Richard, have you seen the game Cuphead? If you haven't, I recommend giving playthroughs of that game a watch. Use some amazing OG animation tech. Alright, cool. Only for personal references can we record this session. Well, Andre, it's going to be on YouTube. So just if you want to come back to this or any of the other streams, they're all on the YouTube channel. So record the session. I don't really see that there would be any value to that, if you know what I mean. Okay, there's our 5. And there's a lot of educational content on my channel if you want to go back and check it out. Did you even bother to get your diploma? No, never got my exam results. Where do you find your references? Solid. I use a site predominantly, or primarily I should say, Grafit Studio. And actually there's a link, there's a link down below in the description to, or a discount code to the Grafit Studio stuff. But here's the thing, Olive, if you become a member of my channel, you will get a link to all the reference we use in all the streams. So you'll be able to draw along and look at the reference that we're using on the screen. But you're 15, so I don't know if you have a credit card, so it might be a question for a parent. But that's, also then there's the age thing, so because we are working with primarily, nude models. But if you had a parent that approved, you'd be very welcome to join the channel and draw along. Okay, next, I haven't ruined this much paper during a stream in a while. Yeah, look, we're working out here. We're in the gym. It's getting sweaty. No one said it would be pretty. Okay, we're going to do one more 5-minute pose, and then we're going to go to threes. Thank you, Mila, for the kind words. I hope I've left something. I hope I've contributed in some way to the big conversation about drawing. We'll see. Thank you, Mila. Once again, I'm just catching up with the comments. I very much appreciate your kind words, really. Well, you see, Lulu, the thing is with the whole document thing, is there was a huge transition from back then. There was no digital archive of these things, right? So you're right. If there is a version of my diploma out there, or my results, I would imagine it's been digitized, but there's no guarantees. Okay. All right, let me start the timer. We're getting there, guys. We're just a few poses away now. What did I say for this one? This is the last 5, right? Yes. Okay. Let's try another tricky pose. All right. We're at 2:45. Yeah, these gesture sessions are always a workout. Especially these last few poses, you know, it's the marathon-esque nature of them really reveals itself. Now that sounds like tooth and throat singing. Here's something, if any of you have never seen or heard tooth and throat singers, go check those guys out. That is some amazing, beautiful, wonderful, strange music. Truly, truly unique in every sense of the word, and just really wonderful. Now, you wouldn't be wanting to listen to it hours on end or anything, at least I couldn't. But if you wanted to see a really different experience. Oh, we're at 5, okay. Smashing the results you're getting by handling your pencil that way. Thanks, Andre. Work to do. I have a very good video about holding the pencil that way. Well, I shouldn't say, it's not for me to say it's a very good video. I have a video on my channel called Possibly the Most Important Lesson I'll Ever Give, regarding about holding the pencil this way and in my opinion, the benefits to it. So if you haven't seen it, that could be worth checking out. Okay, we're down to 3s now, guys. We're not messing around. Things are getting serious. Cool. Oh, and that was the end of the... That was the end of the playlist. All right, 3 minutes. Thanks, Lulu. Well, I think there's a lot to be said for it. And look, it's not my idea. I'm just spreading a good idea. Let's put it that way. I don't know who could ultimately take ownership of being the very first person to do that. I doubt we'll know, but from the sternocleidomastoid coming up this way. Once again, always using it as a rhythmical tool to continue the rhythm working down the line. The most important neck connector, in my opinion. There's our 3. Okay. Some prehistoric guy in the cave holding a rock with overhand grip, probably. In a saber-tooth aim. That's very funny. Probably. And then his mate taking credit for it. No, I did that first, not you. Okay. Where are we at? Second to last pose. 3 minutes. Let me reset the clock. Yeah, this is an awkward pose for gesture. I know that's a flimsy excuse, but it, you know, some poses do definitely make life a little easier than others. I'm losing the plot here. You see, here's the thing. And I can totally feel that my brain is fried. I'm just not making fast decisions now. The brain is done. The brain has had enough. You know, we do these, I really should build breaks into these types of sessions, like deliberate breaks. Like, not that 2 hours is a huge amount of time, but you know, the mental faculties definitely get fatigued. But that's just the way it goes. It's been a good workout, and it's been a while, as I said at the beginning. It really has been too long since we did one of these gesture sessions, which is just kind of purely gesture, let's say. Oh, we're already at 3 minutes 40. Why am I suffering? Okay. Last pose. Yeah, she's got Wolverine energy about her. Sorry, I'm just looking at my pencil situation. They're all pretty shot at this point. Sorry. Where's my... okay. What kind of paper is it? Us Frozen Primordial. Nice name. Just newsprint. Smooth newsprint 48 GSM. Probably about as thin as you can get, I think. Alright guys, last pose. Three minutes. Very interesting and really quite strange foreshortening on this hand, or not on the hand, sorry, on this right arm. That alone could really chew into the time, so we have to be mindful to not, basically to not let it. Yeah, got some really interesting kind of foreshortening going on, and let's see what we can do with it. Well, we're already at 2:42. Yeah, I've spent way too long trying to, just, you know, the brain. And there's our 3. Would like to have finished on a slightly stronger note, but there we go. We got down the general, very general idea. She's saying, I'm out of here. The pencil you use, always that short? No, like I've got some that are this length. This used to be that. You know, you make the most of them. You don't want to waste your pencils. In fairness, I do put them in this little holder, and that's how they get that short. But waste not, want not, right? Guys, it's been fun. Hope you've enjoyed the session as much as I have. It was a workout, no doubt about it. My hands are sore, my brain is sore. It'll be good to call it, but guys, thank you so much for joining me. Some very interesting conversation, as always. We'll be back next week. Let's see what we have in mind. Might be time to do one of the deep dives on something. Maybe we'll go a bit more educational. You know, it's funny, I wanted to maybe mix the two. I've got kind of a couple of ideas in my mind as far as that goes. Anyway, yes, the weekend is upon us, just about. Just need to get through Friday. So, wherever you are, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all again next week. All right, guys, take care. Remember, keep it about the drawing. Peace out.